Gale Weathers was underneath the mask in Scream 2? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and before we dive into the horror multiverse to pick out the most sinister and twisted version of Gale Weathers that there is, I just real quick have to check my email. Let's make this happen, okay. Whoa! Oh my god, I have so many viruses and malwares now. Whatever am I to do? Oh, I know, I'll go to a dimension where I actually installed NordVPN onto my computer. NordVPN is one of the most trusted internet security providers on the market. It offers a lightning-fast VPN connection, next-gen encryption, and advanced features that boost your online security wherever you are on every device. Their privacy-focused values, customer-centric mindset, and cybersecurity expertise make NordVPN one of the leading VPN providers globally. Today, millions of users choose NordVPN for comprehensive online protection. Check out NordVPN by clicking on the link in the description of this video or down in the comments for safe searching online. Also, check out NordPass if you want some help remembering your passwords. Thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring today's theory video. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, it's me, the same Killjoy Jake who just read that whole ad read back there. Before we butterfly effect Gale Weathers from the sequel, let's first talk a little bit about this version of the character. Scream 2 Gale is fresh off the success of selling the rights to her second book, The Woodsboro Murders, to Sunset Studios. They adapt the true crime story into a schlocky slasher flick called Stab. Horror fans are so damn excited for this movie, they're dressing up in costumes sent by the studio during opening weekend, and almost everyone is excited to see it. Some would rather see the new Sandra Bullock movie instead. The Woodsboro Murders seem to be an even bigger hit for Miss Weathers than her first book, Wrongly Accused: The Maureen Prescott Murder, where Gale detailed why she thought Cotton Weary was innocent of the murder he was incarcerated for. Not only was she right about Cotton Weary, but she also played a major part in taking out the actual killers, Billy Loomis and Stu Macher in Woodsboro. Her ego is through the roof as we enter Scream 2, which explains all the sass and the red hair streaks. Gale is once again at odds with some of the other Woodsboro survivors, flirting with an oozing Dewey Riley and trying her hardest to get an interview with Sidney Prescott again. This time, however, she's brought Cotton Weary along, who's looking to clear his name after the whole mother murder fiasco thing. It's still a low blow from Miss Weathers, as I'm sure talking to the man who she thought killed her mother is still not anything less than traumatizing for Sidney Prescott. Scream 2 Gale might be the most successful and arguably best version of this character in the entire franchise, so why would she want to don the mask here at this specific point in the timeline? As a once hungry journalist, Gale Weathers knows that success is fleeting. Maybe after she got a taste of the high life, she just wanted more and more. Knowing that a horror franchise is more profitable than just a standalone movie, Gale sets out to create a sequel. She goes after college students that attend the same school in Ohio as Sidney Prescott, setting this up as some sort of targeted attack towards the final girl. All the while, she jots down notes about how the killings happened, maybe even pretending to be the first reporter on the scene a few times. Not too many times, though, to avoid suspicion, of course. Just the best or most important kills get that sort of treatment. Also, think about Randy's death in the film and how that's all set up. Gale Weathers gets a phone call from Ghostface, what if that's her accomplice, where then the plan is, of course, to somehow get the phone to Randy or Dewey, who are also there. Randy gets this misfortune and ends up a little too close to her van where Ghostface is hiding out. In the Scream 2 that we know and love, no one was really suspicious of Gale Weathers for having a Ghostface hiding inside of her van, but in this version, this alternate universe version of Scream 2, maybe it makes her a little suspicious. Could this be like the first big hint that Gale Weathers is behind everything here? I think Gale's motive revolving around fame, money, and gluttony make a lot of sense with this character, or at least a dark version of this character. But what would her accomplice be motivated by? There's a part of me that thinks that Dewey working with her might be interesting, but I think he's far too good of a character to ever be considered a Ghostface. Their relationship, however, is still a focal point of this sequel, except Gale is totally pulling his strings and manipulating him. Let's say at first Dewey isn't thrilled about what she wrote in her book about him. You know, all the oozing. But then as the story goes along, those feelings he has for Gale start to rise up again, just like the monster that he's hiding in those tight pants of his. And now Dewey is starting to fall for Gale all over again. In this scenario, however, Gale isn't just watching Dewey get stabbed in the back through a pane of glass, she's the one holding the knife. She gets the information she needs from Dewey and then takes him him out. I think it might make more sense to have Cotton Weary be Gale Weathers' reluctant accomplice. After becoming a free man shortly after the events of the original Scream film, Cotton was still seen as a pariah in the public eye. Maybe he simply wants to kill Sydney to get revenge on her for ruining his life. Gale, being our focal Ghostface here though, has other plans for Mr. Weary. Just like how Mrs. Loomis turned on Mickey, Gale would execute Cotton in the third act, to make it seem like he was the sole killer. Gale's plan is to make the public believe that Cotton ended up killing Sidney Prescott, but she swooped in to save the day shortly thereafter. Gale doesn't just want to create another Ghostface massacre, she wants the spotlight on her, not Sidney Prescott. The movie that just released in theaters at this time focused on Sidney Prescott as the main character, and Gale's ego has become so large that she can't handle that. She has to be the one writing the book, the hero in the public eye, and the star of the films themselves. She also can't handle being played by Jennifer Jolie in the movies.
Yeah, well, there's no accounting for taste.
But does everything go according to plan for the tabloid twit? The third act would be set at the same place as the sequel from our dimension. Sydney stands on the Agamemnon stage as Cotton is revealed to be the first killer.
Cotton Weary.
Yes, Cotton Weary. He goes on a rant about how Sydney ruined his life and how as a former convict, it's been impossible to transition back to something normal. He gets to kill Sydney's boyfriend Derek, but his fun is cut short by the other killer, of course. Gale is the only other person coming through that set door this time around. She executes Cotton, and after explaining that he was just the fall guy, Gale tells Sydney about her own motive, that is of course both gluttony and envy. Gale wants the public to see her as the main character in her own stories, the one that takes down the killers and is the star of the films. Maybe part of her killer instincts that arise here are something twisted that ended up happening with her parents. There's a brief comment in Scream 6 where she tells Sam Carpenter that she had a shitty mom just like Sam. Maybe that's just a way of comforting Sam in the moment of Scream 6, but it does lend itself to maybe some bigger story there that hasn't been explored with Gale Weathers yet. Could she have had a rough upbringing that maybe led to all of this here? Blinded by her own ego, Gale is thwarted by Sydney, who catches her monologuing about all the money she's going to make off of this sequel. Gale and Sydney fight as we get a big chase scene throughout this insane set piece. The chick from TV is eventually shot in the head by Sidney Prescott, and she didn't even have to agree to a Diane Sawyer interview to make this all happen. Also, Dewey would still be alive, giving the thumbs up at the end, because of course he is. It seems like the big change that would have to be made here in terms of characterization is that Gale's mushy center would be nothing more than deception. She has this line in the film after Joel quits talking to Dewey saying, "I feel bad, Dewey. I feel really bad. I never say that because I never feel bad about anything, but I feel bad now. There's no cameras here. I just want to find this fucker. I really do." The big difference with this alternate universe version of Gale is she would never say something like this. It is all about the story to her and nothing else. She has become a shell of a human being. Personally, I love our version of Scream 2 the most, honing in on the problems with parents not taking accountability for their children's actions. Mrs. Loomis has these delusions that her son was a good boy and wasn't this awful serial killer. She's tricked herself into blaming the violence in the media and just not her own parenting skills.
You can't blame real-life violence on entertainment.
What? Don't you even watch the news? Yeah.
Gale being the killer would change the commentary element of Scream 2 to focus on media manipulation. It would show how some of the people reporting on the news only do so for their own benefit. This is beyond irresponsibly running loose with the facts. This is just creating an all-new narrative that isn't happening. I will always love the original Scream 2, but how would you feel about the film if it played out this way? Would this twisted version of Gale Weathers be a Ghostface for the history books, or do you just prefer her as the kind legacy character that she is now? Let me know your thoughts on Evil Nancy Drew down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.